Howdy, and welcome to this Life Lesson Friday episode of the Confidence Through Health podcast. I want to talk about why it's important for us to thank people who make a difference in our life. And this came up because yesterday I was out at our local track or I got there to do my workout and to help my son with his workout because it's spring break where I am right now. And so he needed to do a workout. So he was going to work with me a little bit. And I get there, and one of my former athletes, who is now running in college, was there because she's on her spring break and she was doing her workout. And so it was neat to see her doing that, to see her, you know, completing her stuff. She waited around. She cheered on my son. She asked when I got done if I wanted to do a cool down with her, and we jogged 2 miles together. And we caught up on just different things about life, about running, about where she feels she's going in the next, season, and what it looks like maybe for next year. And as we were leaving, we walked to our cars in the parking lot, and she was asking me about, my races and things going on. And she told me that her coach had mentioned to her that he thought she would be a good coach one day. And this isn't the first time that one of my athletes has had this. In fact, one of my athletes is a current grad assistant in a college, on coaching on a track and cross country team. But one of the things, and I've got another athlete that has applied to be a coach. So former athletes. But one of the things that she said spurred this Life Lesson Friday. And she said the coach asked her, what she thought about it. And she said, well, I've had good coaches and I've had bad coaches and I've had amazing coaches. And she looked at me and she said, you're the amazing coach that I talk about when I talk about the amazing coaches. And she said, you changed my life. And I'm so grateful. And I was like, wow. Um, like a little taken aback, a little bit like, okay, well, that's my goal when I work with people, is to make an impact, right? I want to make an impact. I had coaches that made an impact on my life. In soccer, it was Neil Bordelon. He's unfortunately passed away. In track, the first one was Coach Booth when I was in eighth grade, and he actually was instrumental in me getting into the high school that I went to, which is a private school, and being able to run for Coach Pete Boudreau, he's the reason that I'm the coach that I am today, like 100%, like 100%. He's the reason. I draw on his experience every single day. And every time that I have an athlete or myself that performs really, really well in their athletic endeavor, I text or call Coach Pete and say, thank you. I remember when I coached a team that we won a state title, he was the first, well, I called my wife, but other than my wife, he was the first person that I called to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this feeling that you had, that I helped you get when I was your athlete and we won 4 state titles together. That now I'm on the other side of it, on the coaching side. And I know that he's got thousands of athletes that he's coached over his years. He coached for over 50 years. So I know that he's got thousands of athletes that have the potential to reach out to him and say thank you. And I know a lot of us do. And to be able to start that and have somebody say, thank you, you changed my life, to me, made me think, why are we not telling everybody who's ever impacted our life, thank you? Going back and telling them years after. That's what I want you to do today. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to, once you finish this, call or text someone who made an impact in your life and tell them thank you because they need to hear it. You don't know what they're going through. They could be having a really tough time. They could be struggling with, is what I've done ever impacted anybody? Right? Like we all go through ups and downs. So we all have those moments of self-doubt, those moments of, I don't think I'm good enough, those moments of, is anything that I've done in my life been good for anything to anybody? Has it helped anyone? We all have those moments that come up. Should I still be doing this? Right? It takes one person to make one phone call, send one text message, send one email to say, thank you. You changed my life. You are part of the reason why I am where I am today. That makes a huge difference in that person's life. And we should all be doing that. We should all be grateful and thanking the people that helped us along the way. Do you need to do it every day? No, not to the same person every day. If there's multiple people in your life that have impacted you, should you be contacting them and saying thank you? Probably. One person I wish I could contact is my former uh, coach at A&M who recruited me and was my coach for the first couple years. Coach Ed, he passed away several years ago, and I've run races for him in his honor. And I wish I could, but one of the things that I'm super thankful for is that when I knew he was fighting for his life and he was struggling and he was still able to send text messages as he's sitting in the hospital bed, I texted him and said, "Hey, coach, do you remember this memory? It stuck with me. It stuck with me that you did that to help me, that you did that to try and make me a better person." And he wrote back and said, "Thank you. That brought me a smile that like made me feel better." And we should be doing that. We should be doing that and not being so stuck in our own life and so stuck in our own busyness. And are we busy? Sure, we are. Is there a lot going on? Absolutely. But we shouldn't be so consumed with life that we aren't able to give those people a quick shout out to say thank you. And sometimes it can be spurred on by something like I said with me and Coach Pete. A lot of times it's because something has happened from an athletic standpoint, and it reminds me to say, I could not do this without the influence and impact that you made on my life. And I'm not the person that I am today without you being in my life. And quick side story is that I went back and saw him because he's in Baton Rouge and I'm not there. I'm in Texas. And I went back and saw him several years ago. We went back and visited with him in his house. And we were walking out, and he was like, "Let me go take you to the school and show you the new things that have been built and the new track and all the new stuff." And I was like, "Okay, great." So we walk out, and he turns around and he looks at his steps going into his door of his house and said something I had completely forgotten. And he said, "Jerry, do you remember when you would come and run in our summer groups once a week? We would meet, I believe it was on a Tuesday afternoon. We would meet at his house and run as a group, just whoever was in town." And he said, "Do you remember that we would have that run and then you'd stick around and you and I would sit on those stairs and just talk about life?" He goes, "Do you remember that?" He goes, "I remember that. I cherish those memories." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I like I was mind blown that the guy that had that much impact on me recognized the impact that I had on him as well. And he said in not so many words that I made him a better coach because of the way that I pushed myself in the way that I soaked up as much information as I could get. And so giving those people the proper thank you, the proper gratitude, letting them know the impact and influence that they made on our lives is huge for them. So if it's a teacher, if it's a coach, it can be a parent, it can be an uncle, it can be a grandparent. Like it can be anybody. It can be a former boss. Like it could be anybody that made an impact in your life and helped you become who you are. Text that person right now. Call that person right now. Email that person right now. And if you don't have their contact information and you know that they're still alive, track them down. Spend 10 minutes and track them down somewhere. There's some way to track them down and find them and send them something. Somebody you know still knows how to get a hold of them, or you still know where they work, or you can look them up. There's ways to find people. Find them, say thank you. Not for you, for them, because you don't know where they are right now as far as what's going on in their life. And that might be the one thing that they need to realize the success that they've had with their life. So that's the Life Lesson Friday for today. I want you to go make an impact in somebody's life. That's my goal. That's my life mission. That's my life's mission statement is to make an impact in someone's life for good today. And when you know that you've done that because somebody tells you thank you, it you, you get to check the box. You get to say, I accomplished the main thing I wanted to accomplish. Does that mean it's over? No, absolutely not. You keep going. There's more people out there, right? There's more people out there to make an impact with. But it's really, really, really good to know that you've made an impact and you've been successful at doing what you want to do. So that's the Life Lesson Friday. Go text, call, or email that person right now.